Hey everybody, welcome to our Scolio-Pilates Strong episode 6. This is our next episode in our series of the core conditioning exercises. So we're working on core conditioning for the third time today. So we'll focus on just another way to do this. And I've had a few questions about the wedging and some of the other things that we typically focus on with Scolio-Pilates that we haven't gotten to yet, and we certainly will get there. We will talk about wedging, we'll talk about curve type. I just wanted to start this as an easy way for everybody to get involved, and certainly when you're doing it at home, it can be very difficult and actually impossible to offer advice on curve type, and impossible to say, well, your wedges should go here. But we can work on that as a group via a webinar, and we'll get there. In the meantime, we'll work on core conditioning. I wanted to offer you a tidbit today. I have a little list here of things so I don't cover the same thing every time. The scoliosis tidbit I have for you this week is, in case you've ever heard that exercise does not work for scoliosis. This is certainly the common stance in point of view for many in the medical community, and I certainly respect their point of view. That their point of view generally is that exercise will not help scoliosis in the sense that it is not going to change the curve. There is also, as we talked last week, maybe it was the week or the session before, we talked about scoliosis can't cause pain, that it is, if you have pain, it's something else. And we talked about that last week also, that maybe it's not the scoliosis causing pain, maybe it's the change in the vertebra that's now pushing on a disc, that's now pushing on a nerve. Well, again, okay. But maybe it was the scoliosis as part of that. In any case, what I wanted to talk about today was the no exercise for scoliosis. Most of the time when I speak to medical doctors, they're very happy to have me working with their patients because they want to see their patients stronger. They want to see their patients active. They do not want the diagnosis of scoliosis to land their patient in a chair, not doing anything. However, they are also very quick to tell me that the studies have been done and exercise cannot reduce curve in scoliosis. And most of the time they are pointing to a study that was done in the 80s. And that study did show that those exercises that they did not help with scoliosis. That those exercises, which were a general back pain program, did not help with what did not help their patients with scoliosis. It didn't change their curve and actually didn't tremendously change their pain levels either. And that study reminds me of the studies that were being done way back, maybe in it would probably be the 60s. The 60s, maybe a little later than that. But everybody worked off of this one Williams protocol in terms of physical therapy. And it said that, well, if you do this protocol, you do it for everybody, regardless of whether their back pain comes from arthritis or spondylolisthesis or scoliosis or XYZ. It doesn't matter. Everybody gets this. And what they found was that you were better off not doing physical therapy. And that you were better off just healing on your own. And so things change. So that study that was done that said you were better off not doing physical therapy than doing this protocol, well, they've changed all that. Those exercises have changed dramatically. If you have stenosis, you do this group of exercises. Spondylolisthesis, you're here. You have a disc issue, you do this. You have, think of something, you do this. If you do scoliosis, there was nothing. There presently still is, in many places, still is not a protocol. There's not a scoliosis specific exercise. And I'm trying to change that. There's other people in my community that are trying to change that. So there are studies that are coming out that show that scoliosis-specific exercise does help with scoliosis. In some cases, the studies are showing reduced curve. Most studies are showing, reduced pain, increased quality of life, and that kind of thing. What I like to focus on primarily is not reduction in curve. I like to focus on increased quality of life, because quite frankly, I don't care what my curve is, as long as I'm doing what I want to do. And John and I just had a super full weekend. We went rock climbing, indoor climbing with my son and his wife. It was super fun, amazing, still sore. And then yesterday we went on a really long bike ride. We did about 26 miles up the coast. It was super beautiful. And John and I love to play Frisbee on the beach at night. So honestly, that's pretty good. If I'm doing all that, I really don't care what my curve is. But statistically, it's super great that there are studies happening that show that things are changing. And I'll talk to you maybe next week about or on the 18th, about the study that we are doing and participating in. In the meantime, that was a lot of blah, blah, blah. So let's get moving. And what we're going to do is start with some of our regular warm-up exercises, and then we're going to go into the core conditioning, which might look a little different from what you normally think of in terms of, we're not going to do crunches and stuff like that today. I'm going to keep my sweater on for just a little bit longer so I can warm up. I'll tighten it up so you can see stuff. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so let's start with jellyfish breathing. So hands on the rib cage here. You're just going to take a tiny little inhale. Exhale all the air. When I exhale, I squeeze my butt and I get a little taller. Inhale when you have to. Exhale all the air. Squeeze the butt. Imagine there's a ball between your thighs. You're going to squeeze the ball, even though the legs aren't going to come together. You're going to squeeze the ball from down here. Inhale. Exhale all the air. Squeeze the butt, squeeze the ball. Imagine there's a 2-year-old in the room, and that 2-year-old's going to come punch you in the tummy, so brace your abs. Good job. Inhale when you have to. Exhale all the air. Get taller, squeeze the butt, squeeze the ball, little 2-year-old punch. Good. Twice more. Inhale when you have to. Getting really tall. Exhale, get taller. Squeeze the butt, the ball, the 2-year-old. After you've blown out all the air, inhaling. Exhale all the air. Squeeze the butt, the ball, and the 2-year-old punch. Okay, from here, let's do flying up. So my hands are going to go behind my head. I am not going to try to take my head off here. I'm just going to lift my head. I'm just going to elongate my head away from my shoulders. And if you're sitting in front of a mirror when you do this, I was working with someone this morning, and what happened is when she lifted up here, she was working so hard, and I've seen this happen many, many times. She was working so hard that all the muscles in her neck just were like, you could see it, every single one. So we got her to put her shoulders down, and I just asked her to lift as much as she could and relax the shoulders down, or maybe push the shoulders down at the same time, so that we don't see this happening, okay? If this is happening, it's going to affect your breathing. Your breathing isn't going to be super happy with you. So inhale, getting tall. Exhale, getting taller. And when you try this in front of a mirror, you can just make sure that those neck muscles stay relaxed. And John's going to bring me my computer. Thanks, honey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. All right. So from here, you're going to inhale, getting tall. Exhale all the air. No neck muscles, or, you know what I mean. Don't let them pop out. Last time, inhale. Exhale all the air. Squeeze the butt, the ball, the 2-year-old. Lift the head to the sky. And take a break. And just like we said on the past episodes, make sure that when you're lifting your head, that you are not trying to give yourself too much stretch there. Like wherever you are on the planet right now, if you just woke up and it's super early morning, lifting the head as high or as much as you can is most likely going to result in too much stretch in the spine. As we go on throughout the day, it gets a little easier to apply stretch without creating a pain issue. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to sit with my legs here, and I'm going to push my knees down into the table. And then from there, I'm going to use that pressure of the knees down to let my head float up to the ceiling. Now, we've talked about this. If this position is not comfortable, you know that you're going to put your feet on the ground in front of you, and you're going to push through the heels. We call that the magic carpet ride. So if you sit, not with your knees together, but with your knees on the outside edges of your chair, and you push into your heels, it's going to activate the butt muscles, and it's going to make your bum float up off of the chair a smidge. And so that's why we call it magic carpet ride, because you're floating away. So from here, I'm going to be here, and I want to, let's start with flying up. Let me get rid of the sweater now so you can see what's happening. All right. We're still in California this week, by the way. Actually, we'll be here for the 18th also, which will be nice. All right, so we're going to lift up here. And then from here, just square off to the camera a little bit better so I'm not tilted. Okay, from here, I'm going to take this whole box. If I think of my shoulders to my ribs as the top of the box, or top middle box, and then my hips to my sit bones, the bottom of the box, this whole box is going to tip off to my right. I'm not side bending, I'm tipping. So I have to push into my left leg, push down super hard on my left to tip off to the right. So what I'm not going to do here is I'm not going to let my back side bend. Okay, so let's try it twice more like this. Lifting really high, push down your left leg, and tip everything right. You're going to want a mirror for this one. So if you don't already have one at home, I would go to Target, Walmart, and I'd pick up like a really cheapy mirror, and so you can have it in front of you. So lifting up, pushing the left leg down, side tipping to the right. The purpose of the exercise, I'm just going to stretch that out just a little bit. The purpose of the exercise is to elongate, which we've been doing in all of our classes together, and then to tighten everything around the spine. And as you tighten everything, that is going to help solidify the position. And sometimes all it takes is a tiny little tip. Okay, so we'll try the other side, and then we'll try some variations on this as well. So hands to the side of the head. You're going to elongate. Make sure you don't overdo it. If you feel a stretch that feels owie, then you stretch too much. Bring it back down a little bit. And you're going to go up. Take a little sip of air. Exhale all the air. I'm going to push down into my right leg, and I'm going to tip to my left. And I'm going to come back on the inhale. And when I'm ready to exhale, I push down and I tip over. And I come back. I inhale and get tall. I exhale, I push down into my right leg. And I come back. And if you haven't already figured this out, counting is not my forte, so I'm not sure. Let's do one more. Inhale, tall. Exhale, pushing into my right leg. And I'm tipping. And I'm coming back. And I'm just going to wiggle that out again. Okay, let's try a couple of variations on this, or at least one. And then we'll talk in further detail about it. Instead of having my hands here, I'm going to put my hands by my hips now. And I'm going to straighten my arms so that they're actually supporting my spine. So let me turn so you can see my back here, and you'll see how my elbows are pushing into my back to kind of hold it up. They're kind of like struts here. So here to there. So they're really helping me. They're really supporting my spine there. So I'll turn back to you. I'm not sure how well you can hear me talking when I'm talking to the wall. So hands by my sides. Again, I can do my hands on the mat like a tent, or I can go fist, or I can go flat. Most of us have some preference there. I prefer the tent. So I go up on my fingers. I use my elbows by my sides to support my back. And then from here, I'm going to push into my left leg, and I'm going to tip over to the right. So now my weight is into my right arm, really supporting my right side so that it doesn't collapse over here, okay? Really supporting and lifting. I'm going to inhale back to center. I'm going to get tall. I'm going to exhale, squeeze my butt, the ball, the 2-year-old punch, and then over I go. I'm going to push into my left leg and lean to the right. You don't have to go as far as I'm going. I'm going as far as I possibly can so you can actually see what's happening here. Inhaling. Exhale, squeeze the butt, the ball, the 2-year-old punch, and side leaning. And come right back. Inhaling. Exhale, butt, ball, 2-year-old punch, and side leaning. Good. Okay. I'm going to shake that out. I'm going to shake out my fingers, and we'll do 3 on the other side as well. So from here, I'm going to stretch and support the spine. And from here, I'm going to side tip, push down my right leg, and I'm going to side tip to the left. And I'm going to come back on the inhale. Exhale, get taller, squeeze the butt, the ball, the 2-year-old punch, and I'm going to side tip, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa's here. Leaning Towers of Scolies. So inhale, center. Exhale, tipping. One more for good luck. Inhale, center. Exhale, squeeze the butt, the ball, the 2-year-old, and you tip. All right, give that a little break. Shake it out. We're going to try one more variation here. And I'm hoping that out of these variations, you find one that works best for you. In other words, you don't have to do all 3. When you're doing this on your own at home, if you find one that you like, just do that one. So as I'm going through all 3, you're like, nope, I like the first one. I'm just going to do the first one over and over and over again. And that's fine. So I'm going to take my arms up overhead. Now you might see my neck muscle a little bit here because I'm really pulling up into the shoulders here. And that's fine. You don't want to get crazy about it, but you'll see them a little bit. So from here, inhale, hands on the sky, left leg into the mat, and I'm going to tip over. So now I'm on my right sit bone, and I'm pushing up through my right and left arm. If I push up just through my right arm, I start to look like my scoliosis, right? So I push up through both arms, and I keep that nice box shape, and I come back to center. Inhale, tall. Exhaling, over I go. Inhale, tall. Exhale, over I go. Inhale, tall. Exhale, over. One more time. I think we're doing 5 this time. Inhale, tall. And exhale, over we go. Left hand and right hand push. My right hand definitely wants to push harder here than my left. I'm not sure if it's the nature of tilting to the right side or if it's because I'm trying to fall into my curve. So I want to be sure that both sides are lifted here. And back to center. Okay, my arms need a little break before we do the other side. And then we'll go on. And we'll talk about this a little bit longer after that. So arms up to the sky. I'm going to push with both arms. I'm going to push down through my right leg and over I go. So nope, it's my scoliosis because as I go this direction, I still want to push further with my right arm than my left. So I'm going to push through my left arm a little bit more and come back. So basically I'm pushing a little bit harder with the arm on the side of the thoracic concavity. So if my curve goes this way and I push with my right arm, of course it will push into my curve. But if my curve goes this way and I push harder with the opposite arm, with my left, then it's going to help me elongate. So it makes sense that whether I was going right or left, that my right arm was pushing harder. So here we go. So nice and long, inhaling. I'm going to push my right leg down and I'm going to go over to the left. And now I'm really pushing with my left arm. And now I really feel that open. And I'm also trying to twist. I keep trying to twist towards my right. So I need to make sure my shoulders stay squared off to you. And coming back to center. Inhale, super tall. Exhale, over I go, pushing down through my right leg, pushing up a little more through my left arm, and making sure that I don't rotate to the right, that I stay nice and squared in center. Back to center. Twice more like that. Inhaling up. Exhaling over, right leg down, left arm up, no rotation allowed. Back to center. Inhaling. Over I go, right leg down, left arm up, no rotation, back to center. And then, I hope I'm not the only one feeling their shoulders. Okay, so a couple of things then. If you know where your thoracic convexity is, that is going to be the side of your back that wants to pop out a little bit, right? So if I was to back up against a wall, my right side is going to hit the wall and my left side won't. So if I'm leaning against a wall, my left side doesn't touch the wall. It just is hanging in space and my right side hits. So that's my thoracic, my mid-back convex side. Just as another image here, that is to say that my right side is the part that pops out here. Okay, it just comes out just a little bit. All right, so that is the side. If that's my convex side, then that's where my side bend is. And when I push with both arms overhead, this is also why I really want you to get a mirror. When you push those arms up, that right arm is going to try to push harder than the left because that's where my spine wants to live. So just be really, really certain that we go both arms up. Okay, so both arms lifting and stretch that left arm up more than the right. If your convexity is the same as mine, otherwise it's the reverse. Okay, that's probably enough of that. We'll answer questions about that one later. I want to keep that theme, but turn it into like a side plank here. So we are going to go onto the right arm, and I'm going to bring both of my knees together and my feet here, and I'm going to come down onto my right arm. And I think I just left the camera, so let me get a little closer. Nope, wrong way. This way. Here. Okay, so from here, this is, it's really a dangerous place to get into Cleopatra position here. Because again, just as I talked about, my spine would super appreciate to hang out right here, just like Cleopatra. So I'm going to put my hand on my hip, and I'm going to push into my elbow. As I push into my elbow, it's going to lift my spine off of the mat here. So it's going to stay really, really lifted. From here, I'm going to lift my hips off the mat just a touch and come back down. So my elbow is down on the mat on the side of my thoracic convexity. Okay, I'll say that one more time. My elbow is down on the side of my thoracic convexity. So I'm going to lift up and I'm going to come down. So as you can see, my hips aren't going crazy high here. I can't go too high. If I go too high, I'm going to start sinking in my curve a bit. Or actually not really sinking into it, but I'm sure struggling to keep alignment. So I'm going to lift again. And I'm going to come back down. And I'm going to lift again. And I'm going to come back down. And I'm going to try and square off to you a little bit more here. There we go. That's better. And I'm going to lift. And I'm going to come back down. And I'm going to lift. my hips, and I'm going to come back down. All right, so let's give that a little break. So that's going to be the simplest version. We will stick with, you can stick with that, or we can add on just a little bit. So again, just to reiterate, my curve is going this way. My thoracic convexity is over here with my curve. This is the part that wants to pop out in the back. That is the elbow that I'm going to put down on the mat. Because that push of the elbow pushes me away from my curve. If I don't push into my elbow, it's the worst side to lay on. So if you're there, you're active. Okay, you're never hanging out like Cleopatra there. Or her boyfriend, Mark Antony, as the case may be. All right, so then from there, if you push into the elbow on one side and you reduce this by pushing into the elbow, then if we take the arm overhead, it will help us to accomplish the same thing, which is to move this portion back to center. We close these ribs, we open these ribs. So it's going to look like this. I feel like I cannot get situated today. All right, so from here, we are going to push into the elbow. I'm going to square off to you a little bit better so you can see. Make sure in this position that you are active already. Never hang out here. All right, if you get tired, then just come up to sitting. So I'm going to push into my right arm. Now and that pushes this convexity. It derotates me a little bit and then pushes me over to the left. I'm going to take this arm, and I have a couple options here. I can reach up straight up to the ceiling, or I can hug my head. This hand goes to my opposite ear, and that really helps me open up here. So from here, I'm going to lift my hips up, and I'm going to come right back down. As you lift up, be super certain that you are not rotating. So up you go. Good. And down you go. And you're going to go up. And you're going to go right back down. And you're going to go up. And you're going to go down. You're going to do 4 more. You're going to go up. And you're going to go down. You can take a break right now if you're getting too tired of this exercise. It's not an easy one. And you're going to go up. And you're going to go down. And we have 1 more to go. You're going to go up. And you're going to go down. Okay, good job. All right. So now, from here, let's just wiggle and give it a break. Okay. Now, can we do the other side? Yeah, we can. And so let's go ahead and do that and practice that position. It's a little, you have to have a little more thought process to it than what we just had, because the position alone on the last one is very corrective. As I push into my right arm, it pushes my ribs away. So if I go on the other side and I push into my left arm, then it's going to have a tendency to push towards the curve, which we don't want. So from here, your hand is on the hip to start. Now, let's think about where we want to go. So my curve tendency is here. And if I'm sitting into this curve here, then it's doing the opposite already. So I'm going to lift my hips up, and I'm going to pay attention to squeezing my ribs down here. So I'm going to put my hand on my shoulder and squeeze those ribs down. So I'm still opening on the left, okay? So rib to the sky, push down on the elbows, kind of like somebody was standing over you and they had their hand on their elbow and they're pushing you down. So now inhale and exhale. Good. Inhale and exhale, keeping the hips up the whole time. Inhale, imagine someone's hand on your elbow pushing you down so that the ribs open on the opposite side. Inhale, exhale. Twice more. Inhale. Exhaling. Last time. Inhale. And exhaling. Whew. Okay, that one's really hard. Hopefully you'll think so too. It's really hard because you're on the other side, it's hard too, but at least by pushing into the elbow and being up there, it's doing what you want it to do with the spine. On this one, you get up there and then you have to make another compensation for the exercise to actually work the way you want it to. All right. Let's go on and try something else then. I'm not sure I'm going to fit into the screen on this one, so I'm going to chat you through part of it, okay? So for this, I'm going to lie down and I'm going to take my head. Let's go this way. And here I am. And up here, I guess I do fit pretty well here. All right, from here, I'm going to straighten both legs. If you're lying on the side of your thoracic convexity, do not let it touch the floor. So right now I am on my right side, which is the side of my thoracic convexity. I am not going to let it touch the floor. I can get my hand right underneath there. I'm going to take my hand up. Now I'm super balancing here. Both legs are going to go up. Both legs are going to go down. If that super balance is hard, find something to hold on to. I have a bar here I'm going to hold on to. And come here. I can also use my hand in front of me, just the fingertips, as a kickstand. If I put my whole hand down, it's going to tend to roll my shoulder forward. It's really not what I'm after, okay? I'm after staying tall. Here I am flying up. My legs are straight. I can flex my feet to push through my heels. So let's do that. That'll help us get long. So flying up in one direction, heels in the other. And then the legs can go up and down. Now this is really pretty difficult. So if you need the kickstand, put your fingertips here, keep your elbow to the ceiling, and keep your shoulder open. Imagine that you're flying up through the top of your head and that you're pushing through your heels at the bottom. If you're lying like me on the side of your thoracic convexity, the convexity is not touching the floor. This is like the hardest class so far, right? This is tough stuff. This is really tough. So up and down here. Let's do 3 more. 3 and 2 and 1. And let's hold it for 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Bend the knees. Curl up like a little ball. Get off that side. And then we'll go to the other side. So we'll lie down. I'm going to push through my heels. I'm going to come here. And I'm going to put now this time I'm not lying on my convexity, so I can let my ribs stay down, which is going to make this side a little bit easier. I am going to fly up with both hands. I am going to flex both feet. And then from here, I'm going to put my right hand on my shoulder. And I'm going to lift both up. Now I'm trying to keep my rib down, and then both legs go down, and both go up, and both go down. Use your kickstand here, fingertips touch the mat, elbow to the ceiling if you need to. Both go up, both go down, both go up, both go down, both go up, both go down. We're going to do, oh my gosh, you know I've lost count. Let's do 4 more. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Hold it for 10 and 9 and 8 and 7. Still flying up through the top of your head, okay? Still pushing through your heels. This is all about elongation. If nothing else, we are definitely elongating, okay? So keep pushing, 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 pushing. Inhaling and exhaling, inhaling, whew, and exhaling. I'm going to curl up like a little ball. I'm going to come up to sitting, and I'm going to shake it out. So all those muscles don't get trapped there. I mean, we do kind of want them trapped long, but we don't want them getting overly nervous about the position. Okay, I think we need to do something to kind of chill all that out a little bit, because that was pretty tough. I think we should just maybe finish with jellyfish breathing. So seated, taking the hands down low on the rib cage. Let's do a gentle elongation. So imagine you have 2 extra hands that are helping you fly up. And when you do your jellyfish breath, let's put the fingers in the sides this way this time. Okay, so I have 1 finger here, 1 finger here, pushing. And I want you to see if you can push those fingers away. So push them away with those ribs. Once you can't push them away any further, let them come together and down again. And then again, push the fingers away. And exhaling down again. Squeeze the butt, squeeze the ball, 2-year-old punch on the exhale. 3 more like that. Inhale. Elongating. Exhale, squeeze the butt, the ball, the 2-year-old punch. Loud, 2 more, I think. Inhale. Exhaling, butt, ball, and 2-year-old. Last time, inhaling. And exhaling. Okay, good. All right, so we finished that portion. Now we open it up for questions.